What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Rival Bike series powered by Partzilla. Now, you guys have seen Spite's DRZ undergoing a pretty dramatic transformation, and all you've seen over here on this sweet little bingus is it's getting beaten to death repeatedly every single episode. So we thought it'd be fun to spice this thing up today and have a little build-off challenge between myself and Spite. There's a bit of a twist. You selected all the parts that are going on this bike, right? I'm sure you only got the best stuff for me, right?
I hand-selected the best of the best off of Amazon.com for this motorcycle.
God. I can't wait to see it.
We're going to be taking a look at what it takes to install a headlight using OEM parts and whatever you can cobble together on Amazon for $200.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we take a look at the parts that we're installing on both of these motorcycles, and then we'll see what happens to the GIXXER 250 today.
We'll see, and you guys stick around because I'm doing a very special exhaust modification on this bike that I've been talking about for weeks. Can't wait.
Alrighty guys, so diving into the parts that I will be installing today, Partzilla, over there, they have provided us with a bunch of nice new headlight components, topping everything off with this lovely new cowl, which we've already put the Partzilla matching livery on. We've got a brand new headlight housing, which this thing is going to look so much nicer and actually create usable light versus this cheapo Amazon headlight. This thing is not, to say it creates light is like saying that your cell phone flashlight is a good headlight. This is just absolutely garbage. Putting the regular headlight on is going to be a godsend. And then we have a whole bunch of bolts and grommets and nuts and so forth to get this headlight on there. Now again, all these parts have been given to us by Partzilla, and they are the best place, cheapest place for OEM parts on the market. Click that link down below. You can use their parts picker where they have all these awesome diagrams so you can find exactly the smallest nut or bolt all the way up to big assemblies so you can get it all in one piece and just go ahead and install it on your motorcycle. And the best part about this is if you're working on a project motorcycle of your own, click that link down below, get yourself signed up to win over $1,400 worth of parts on Partzilla's website. That is correct. You can get $1,400 worth of parts for free for your own project motorcycle or your brand new one. They've got all sorts of OEM and aftermarket options, so do be sure to check them out. Now let's see what Yammie is going to be throwing on the GIXXER 250 today.
Alrighty, everyone, Spite has selected some pretty choice parts for me for the GIXXER 250 over here, and none of them came from Partzilla. We want to make that abundantly clear. Everything came from the cheapo, worst place ever to buy parts, from Amazon.com. So we're starting us off here. We got a new headlight. It is probably the cheapest headlight that Spite could have purchased. Integrated turn signal, so that's pretty snazzy. We've got a handlebar. We're going to be increasing the height and the ergonomics of this motorcycle here, actually trying to make it more adventure spec. We have some billet aluminum fork mounting brackets because we need to kind of make it work with our existing clip-ons. And I'm going to try to push the forks out a little bit on the triple, get some additional height. And as I mentioned, there's a special exhaust mod coming for this video. Now, the coolest part about all this is we have the Skunt Gwang 7-inch black Chopper Cafe Racer Bob. Right here in this box, you get yourself a whole motorcycle, a 7-inch Chopper Cafe Racer Bob right in here. So I'm actually going to ditch the keys to the GIXXER and just ride off into the sunset with this bad boy right here. We've also got 25% of some golf clubs right here. Obviously, these are the hand guards we're going to put on the motorcycle. And then we've also got the Extreme Amazing 22mm 7/8" ATV dirt bike pack of 2. Who knows what's in here? We're going to find out today. Toss all this crap on the GIXXER and see if we can reduce the weight of the GIXXER, make it better, make it substantial enough to defeat the DRZ in Ultimate Combat, which it's been doing pretty all right so far, so let's keep it going.
In the friendly spirit of competition, I'm helping Yammie get the bike on the lift. I think it's also worth noting I didn't pull fitment for any of those parts that are going on here. I just picked whatever I could find.
All right, guys, when you're working on your motorcycle, you're gonna wanna make sure that if you're removing bolts, it's pointed in the right direction on the impact gun. So right now, we're actually removing, and we wanna just get in there and really just drive that bolt home, you know, and then try to remove it later on and see what happens here. Yeah, it looks like we've gone ahead and stripped that, but don't worry, I've got something to figure that out just right here.
God.
Let's see here.
That's one way to get your fairings off.
You're too gentle with the DRZ, man. You're too gentle. Oh, looks like I'm gonna need a Phillips head. Knowing my luck, I would have swung a hammer and like blasted the coolant hose right off or something.
Yep.
I love how you're not even working on the DRZ anymore. You're like, I just want to watch this.
Yep, this is, the chaos here is gonna be real.
God, this is good. This is really, really rewarding, honestly. So don't let anyone ever tell you that Yam doesn't know how to work on a motorcycle, all right? Spent many a year doing this. Where's the Dremel when you need it, Spike?
Well, while he's busy absolutely mutilating the GIXXER over there, I'm gonna carefully remove this headlight because you might notice I already have some headlight brackets on here, but I put them on backwards. The right one is on the left fork tube and the left one is on the right fork tube. So I gotta take all that off and redo it because it's only worth doing if you have to do it twice. Why not just cut this piece of plastic right there and make your life easy?
No, it's not good for the video, though. It's funny to see sparks and shit. Obviously, it'd be easier to just cut right there, but it's more fun to see sparks and shit. Come on. Come on, where's your sense of movie magic? Oh, look at that, a push pin. Remember, guys, you want to be delicate with the push pins here so you don't damage any of the fairings. You want to be really delicate with it because otherwise you can really risk some critical damage to the fairings here, and you really don't want that on your motorcycle.
Is that one getting saved?
No. No. Nothing's getting saved. Cool. Another one of these.
Just the sound of all the parts snapping off the bike and hitting the ground.
What's funny is I don't feel any type of way about it. It's great. Like normally I'd be like, ah, my God, ah.
There goes the windshield. So like I said, I put these headlight brackets on so that I could hold the old headlight in place and keep it off of the brand new front cowl that we put on here because I wanted to keep this looking nice. But I put them on backwards, so I need to take the front, or the top triple off the motorcycle and work them off, swap sides, and then fingers crossed I'll get it right this time. So one thing that you might notice when you're doing these clamps on your bike is that one side is a lot harder to pull off than the other, and that's because you're actually putting mismatched forces on it because it's expanding, and so one bolt is going to get torqued down harder than the other. So if one is really tough to get on, just keep turning it, or just turn the other one back in a little bit, back that first one out so that you can actually put more torque on it.
Hey, you're gonna love this. Suzuki put bullet connectors for the turn signals from factory.
Did they really?
They did. Boom.
Oh, that's a trophy right there, man.
Fly, GIXXER, fly!
It's actually a fairly substantial piece. That's 5-10 pounds coming right off the front end.
The smell of melted plastic.
Guys, I'm having a hard time focusing over on what I'm doing while that atrocity is happening. So we haven't made a lot of progress over here. I'm mesmerized by that whole situation.
Alrighty. So there's actually some decently important stuff here that we do need to be mindful of.
I've never seen such just like wanton abandon for parts on a motorcycle.
Again, this is art, okay? This is art.
I think I didn't understand when we were planning this video. I don't think I understood quite the depth to which this bike was going to change.
Look at that. Look at the aggression. Look at the speed. Look at the precision. The form, the function. Nothing you don't need, you know?
Yeah. Alrighty guys, so I got the new mounting brackets set up on the right side this time so that we know exactly where they're going. And now I need to torque everything down to spec. And first I need to do these clamp bolts, and then I need to do the steering stem nut. These are 21.5 foot-pounds and a nice beefy 65 right there. So got to get those all down to torque.
Torquing stuff?
So we're getting ready to put the new headlight in the headlight housing. One thing that's always nice to do with this is to actually wipe the outside of the bulb down with some isopropyl alcohol before you go ahead and put it in, just to make sure that you're getting any fingerprints off of there or anything, because this is going to get really hot, and like an exhaust, it'll cook any oil on there and it can reduce the life of the bulb. So just use some rubbing alcohol and give the outside of the bulb a nice clean, and then toss it inside your nice fancy headlight housing. Just like that. So guys, in this little build off, it would seem that the tortoise has now become the hare. I've been kind of just sitting by watching Yam do whatever he's done to the GIXXER, and I'm pretty close to finishing this up already, so.
You also had one thing to do. You had a headlight to do.
Yeah, you have a headlight to do. You're just doing a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
to get around to it.
I have like 7 things to do. You have one thing to do. Bit of an advantage there.
I may have stacked the odds in my favor today. Somebody's sick of losing.
Yeah. The only way he can win is by cheating.
It's not cheating. I'm technically doing.
I'm building. Is by cheating.
You've decided to do a whole bunch of extra stuff that you probably didn't need to do.
All right, guys. While Spite is over there customizing his motorcycle, we're doing real work over here on the GIXXER, and we've installed a new race system on this motorcycle. As you can tell, we've also got some ground clearance going on right here, and this thing's gonna sound the absolute business while it crushes Spite's DRZ in any challenge it sees fit.
The one challenge Yam is not going to be able to beat me in is this building challenge, because I'm actually almost done. I've already got the headlight installed, and it's doing the headlight thing. So it's lighting up everything in front of me. Unfortunately, my dash does not know that the headlight is on. That's a little weird. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I don't know, it's DRZ. What do you expect? At least the headlight works.
All right, everybody, the desecration of the GIXXER has come to an end. The power tools have been put away. We actually need to be a little more careful now, because we're going to be removing stuff like the throttle tube, the brake lever, the clutch lever, clusters over here, and we need to then install the new bars and hope that all the cables are long enough to fit onto the bar. So let's get into it.
Alrighty guys, so what we need to do now that we have the headlight on is we actually need to adjust where the headlight is pointing. So if we stand the bike up and turn the light on, you can see over there that it's pointing quite low to the ground. We want that to be a little bit higher, and we can't quite see the high beam from this distance, so we need to get that set up. So I'm going to turn the lights off in here, and then just start working on this slowly but surely. Alrighty, so I have completed the headlight install on this thing. I adjusted the angle so that it is pointing in the right direction, and we got the new cowl on with the matching livery. The only thing that really kind of sticks out right now is the bark busters, but I think I'm just going to leave these on and plasti dip them black, just so that they're, you know, in line with the rest of everything else. And other than that, it's looking really sharp. We've got a couple of other mods that we need to do to it later on down the line, but This is probably one of the biggest ways to improve the look of your bike by going back to the stock headlight from something as wretched as what we had on there before.
Alrighty, everybody, we did not get to finish the GIXXER in one day. We ran into some issues and it did not get completed in one day, so we're gonna go back tomorrow and keep it rolling, and that's where this video will pick up, so we'll see you there.
The DRZ's done, guys. I finished it like hours ago. It's all done.
You had one headlight to do. I'm literally transforming this entire motorcycle. But Spite's been helping me out too. Don't let him fool you on the off-camera stuff, so we'll pick it up from tomorrow. Welcome everybody to day 2 of the GIXXER build. As you guys can tell, I've got a simple tripod set up with me, and I'm here by myself in the shop, and it's still in disarray because, well, I'll be damned if the GIXXER didn't beat me on the single day that I tried to build it into an amazing little street scrambler tractor thing. We did a lot of work on this bike after hours. Whitney went home because she has a life, unlike me, that I am subjected to these things day in and day out. Spite also went home because as hard as it is to believe, he also has a life, but not me, baby. Me and this GIXXER, this is the only life I have. We've done some other interesting things to this motorcycle. I'm gonna walk you through some of the things we're currently doing to it. By we, I mean me, and then hopefully wrapping this up today and getting this little thing prepped for battle against the DRZ, which is what it's supposed to do. So let's check this out. So the first thing you guys are gonna notice is this motorcycle has been completely torn down. No more fairings on it, nothing like that. I am still figuring out where to put a lot of the stuff that was inside of the headlight housing and all that. I've also made an executive decision to not put a headlight on it. As you guys can see over there, there's a cheapo Amazon headlight. I thought to myself, you know what? When on God's green earth am I gonna ride this motorcycle around at night? So we're gonna run it no headlight. I'm gonna zip tie all this garbage together. I've got the reg rec right there just hanging on the fork leg. I've zip tied the dash back on there. Check it out. Still works just fine. Hilarious. Setting up these handlebar mounts here was a bit of an annoying task. We had to file down these to make sure that they fit near the fork caps there. We had to raise the whole motorcycle up a solid like 1.5 inches in the forks. As you can tell, it's extremely raked out now, and it has a massive ground clearance, which is hilarious. We're gonna put a skid plate on there, but even with the skid plate, this thing will easily have 8 inches of ground clearance, no problem. Right now it has about 9 inches of ground clearance, which is insane. That's like almost like a Tenere 700. So basically this is a Tenere 700, right? We got really lucky whenever we were pulling all this up, because when we lifted all this up here, you know, we wanted to make sure all the controls still worked and functioned properly. This motorcycle still needs to stop and go. So thankfully the throttle cables were long enough to fit on this new handlebar here. And then we actually got one of our Discord boys. This is an old brake line from a Harley-Davidson Sportster that Tube, the actual progenitor of the GIXXER 250 project, gave to us. So I just finished bleeding this line here, as you can tell by that sweet Gatorade bottle right there, yum yum. It got actual brake pressure on this bike, so you can see right here. Actually will stop now. So I'm gonna keep chipping away at this thing, tidying it up, fixing the last little bits of it, and it should be good to go. I think it's gonna sound awesome with its new exhaust setup. What do you guys think? This thing is a little freaking gremlin, dude. This little hobgoblin of a motorcycle. Oh, it's amazing. All right, let's finish this up. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, as difficult as it is to believe, this is a running and riding motorcycle. This is our GIXXER 250, which I'm now officially calling the Hobgoblin. Look at it. Look at it go. Bark busters, safety wired grips, zip tie everything, duct tape here and there, massive weight reduction complete on this GIXXER, and a big ol' raise on the front end geometry. So I wanna go take this thing out for a spin, see if it runs and rides okay, which I just said it rides. It should ride, the front brake works, that's all you really need to worry about. Let's see how wonky it is to ride. Let's go have some fun. All right, folks, this is the Hobgoblin's maiden mini vlog. I'm just gonna ride it around and make sure it doesn't kill me.
The front brakes work, which is really what I wanted to see. That's all I really cared about. It's honestly not that loud. It's what I suspected because it's a relatively small engine. It's not that particularly loud. See, I turn it on here. Granted, I've got earplugs in and I've got my helmet on and stuff, so it's a little quieter in my head than it should be. But riding it around, honestly, it's a lot quieter than I thought it'd be. This pathetic little 249cc parallel twin is relatively quiet. The one thing I really wanted to see was how it worked with this crazy geometry change. We literally pushed the front forks down in the triple tree like 1.5 inches. So this motorcycle is like jacked up like crazy now. But it honestly doesn't seem to affect the handling too much. Looks like it still flicks over from side to side reasonably well. It still behaves like a normal motorcycle. And the cool part is with this new handlebar setup, which is jank as hell, I'll give you guys that. It feels like a proper little adventure bike now. It looks like I can stand on it a lot easier than I used to. So I think I'm going to have a lot more fun scrambling this thing around because I can actually stand on it. Now, one of the big limiting factors are these RS10s that are on it. I definitely want to swap those over for some TKC 80s or something so I can get a little bit of grip in dirt and rock and stuff because this is a literal track day tire. So that's kind of silly. But yeah, check it out. It still does the normal GIXXER 250 things. Friggin' hobgoblin, dude. It's an absolute hobgoblin. Look, there's no grip. There's no grip at all. Get all kinds of swazy sideways action on this bad boy. But I'm kind of shocked, honestly. It appears to work and ride no matter what we do to this bike. It just kind of keeps going. But yeah, see, on the maintenance throttle, it's really chill. It's not even that loud. Open it up and it's like, okay, that is a lot. Forgot to put the license plate back on, so we are really squidding right now. But check it out, look, front brakes. Look at that, I got front brake. I gotta put a bar-end mirror on this thing because I'm a little annoyed at not having mirrors on this motorcycle. GIXXER 250! I feel like I'm on a stunt bike, but one that is like no power at all. So check engine light is going to be permanently on now because we're running this completely header out exhaust, and I snipped the O2 sensor because I don't care at all about this bike. And it's so if anything goes wrong with it, we're not going to know, so whatever. Everything still works exactly as it should. That's kind of incredible. I'm just a master bike builder, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I clearly know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, the controls are a little funky. This is the only way I could make these bars work. I guess I can move the entire assembly up, and that'll probably make it a little bit better. But all in a day's work on the hobgoblin here, guys. Probably running insanely lean. But I don't care. Let it die. Do whatever you want, GIXXER. I don't care. I had a buddy of mine who was running a Ninja 400 at a CMRA event, and they ran it without any coolant in the bike for 4 hours at an endurance event, and only after 4 hours of redline abuse did the bike finally seize. So I'm going to take a guess and say that this pathetic 249cc parallel twin is basically unkillable, no matter what you do with it. So we're going to test a lot of different things on it and see if we can kill it, but right now it seems to just continue to work no matter what we do to it. I would like to remind you guys that this motorcycle has 484 miles on the clock. Yes, it has not even crossed 600 miles yet, and it is just a wretched little pile of garbage. What a little turd, man. What a little turd that will continue to defeat the DRZ.
Alrighty folks, this is now several days after I completed the Hobgoblin here, and Spite has actually not seen this motorcycle. We're not doing this for movie magic stuff. I finished this bike up, I sent him a photo of it, and I was like, look how hilarious this thing is. But he's not seen it in person, so now we're gonna get his raw impression to the wonderful little Hobgoblin here. Spite, without further ado, please come in through.
Oh no.
Well,
yeah.
Give me your raw thoughts on it, man. It's a sweet ride, isn't it?
It looks like it went from like having 400,000 miles on it to like 1 million miles in a couple of days.
Do you like this touch?
Yeah, I do. Right on the tank there. That's awesome. I love your solution for keeping
anything in place?
Yeah, it's just the solid zip ties up there. That's awesome.
Check it out. Look, you can still see all your information.
There you go. I mean, that's better than...
It's a run and dash right there.
Mm-hmm.
We got front brake pressure. Bam, son.
This is the thing that surprised me the most, was the fact that this steel line from Harley just kind of bolted right up to it.
It just works. Yeah, looks like as long as you seat something and have a crush washer on there and actually have fluid, it works. The level on the reservoir is a little funky because it's like kind of cantilevered this way. There's enough fluid in there, but it's just pointing the wrong direction. So as you see, the bark busters are kind of
on the wrong angles.
They're kind of like that. This has been safety wired on there like a real race bike, you know?
Yeah, and I like how you didn't tuck that guy right there, so you got the super sharp knife blade edge there.
Hey, because when you're on a race bike, your gloves are thick enough, you don't feel it. You know, you're not squeezing super hard. You're fine. You're fine.
I also enjoy the fact that we got that nice fancy headlight, only for you to be like, nah.
No. Yeah, so I pretty much just like bunched everything up together here. I put a bit of, duct tape in spots where I was like, I don't really want water to get in there. It should be all right. Kind of zip tied everything back in there. The fuse box is just kind of hanging out on this fork here. The reg rec is just kind of chilling right there. But it's a riot to ride. It's the crappiest, goofiest little bike ever. And I feel like an absolute idiot riding it around.
How does so we raised the forks. How did that change the handling on the bike, if at all?
I really couldn't detect much. The thing that really stood out to me is low speeds with the new height. It's so much nicer for what we're trying to do with it, right? You can actually get a lot of leverage over the bike. You can stand above it, but there's no getting away from the fact that when you stand on it, it looks like the front wheel is like a mile in front of you. You're like, that doesn't look right. Like if you actually look, if you sit on it and then look over the front wheel, it looks like the front wheel is way too.
Oh yeah, no, I can totally see that.
You're like, why is that there? You know? So there's way too much rake, I think, but it doesn't appear to have messed up the handling too much. I took it around the block and I was kind of running at 40, 50 miles per hour. I was like, honestly, man, like it's a dumb GIXXER. Like, there's not really much to write home about anyways.
How are the dump pipes on the road?
So guys, let us know what you think of this miserable, wretched little GIXXER down below. And I think you got something less to say about Partzilla, right?
Yeah, don't forget, we have the DRZ that has actually been treated very nicely. We have the scales of shit bike here swinging drastically in the Hobgoblin's favor here. The DRZ is now a wonderful looking little motorcycle, all thanks to Partzilla. They gave us over $1,400 worth of parts to put on that motorcycle, and you can win those $1,400 worth of parts by clicking the link down in the description below and checking them out. They've got the best and the cheapest choice for OEM parts on the internet. Go see what you can do with your motorcycle down there, and again, get entered to win $1,400 worth of parts for your project.
Yeah guys, make sure you don't end up with a bike that looks like this. Get the proper OEM parts and do it the right way. Don't live the Hobgoblin life if you don't have to. This bike is just so quickly turned into a Craigslist crap bike, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's just aging in not even dog years and like mouse years or something. Yeah, it's just like...
This is a rough little motorcycle, guys.
It's gonna be great. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Keep watching Yammie Noob. 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 Keep watching Yammie Noob.